On this day in history, January 3rd. At the Battle of Princeton during the Revolutionary War in 1777, General Washington's forces achieved a crucial victory that lifted American spirits after a string of defeats. Washington personally led his troops from the front, rallying them when they began to retreat. The victory helped convince France to support the American cause. In a significant diplomatic development in 1815, three major European powers forged a secret alliance to counter the growing influence of Prussia and Russia. This defensive pact between Austria, Britain, and France marked a crucial shift in post-Napoleonic European politics. The alliance demonstrated how quickly former enemies could become allies when faced with new threats. British sovereignty over the Falkland Islands was firmly reasserted in 1833 when Captain James Onslow sailed the HMS Clio into Port Louis. This action formally began British administration of the islands that continues to this day. Onslow raised the Union Jack and read a proclamation of sovereignty to the inhabitants. A historic moment for African democracy occurred in 1848 when Joseph Jenkins Roberts took the oath as Liberia's first president. Roberts, born a free African American in Virginia, had emigrated to Liberia in 1829, where he became a prominent merchant and politician. His presidency marked Liberia as Africa's first independent republic. Delaware made a crucial decision in 1861 that helped shape the course of the American Civil War by voting to remain in the Union. As a border state, Delaware's decision was particularly significant given its location and economic ties to both North and South. This vote helped secure the northern border of the Union. The Meiji Restoration of 1868 marked one of Japan's most transformative moments, ending over 250 years of Tokugawa shogunate rule. Forces from the Satsuma and Choshu domains, advocating for modernization and imperial restoration, successfully overthrew the shogunate's power structure. This revolution would launch Japan into an era of rapid industrialization and westernization under Emperor Meiji's nominal leadership. In the midst of the Franco-Prussian War in 1871, French General Louis Faidherbe achieved a notable tactical success at the Battle of Bapaume. Despite being ultimately unsuccessful in changing the war's outcome, Faidherbe's forces managed to push back Prussian troops in a rare French victory during this conflict. This battle demonstrated that the French army, despite its overall struggles, could still mount effective resistance. The Battle of Neuilly Bop in 1885 marked another chapter in the complex Sino-French War, as French colonial ambitions clashed with Chinese interests in Southeast Asia. The battle took place in northern Vietnam, which was then part of French Indochina. This engagement would prove crucial in establishing French dominance in the region. A remarkable meteorological event occurred in 1913 when an Atlantic coast storm system created the lowest barometric pressure ever recorded for a non-tropical system in the continental United States. The reading of 955.0 millibars demonstrated the extraordinary intensity of this winter storm. This record still stands today as a testament to the storm's unprecedented strength. In the same year of 1913, Greek forces completed their capture of the strategically important island of Chios during the First Balkan War. The surrender of the last Ottoman forces on the island marked the end of centuries of Ottoman rule. This victory significantly strengthened Greece's position in the Aegean Sea. A milestone for women in American politics was achieved in 1933 when Minnie D. Craig broke new ground by becoming Speaker of the North Dakota House of Representatives. Her election marked the first time a woman had held such a position anywhere in the United States. Craig's achievement opened doors for future women leaders in state legislatures across America. During World War II in 1944, a dramatic aerial battle resulted in the shooting down of famous American ace major Greg "Pappy" Boyington by Japanese pilot Captain Masahiro Kawato. Boyington, known for leading the famous Black Sheep Squadron, was captured and spent the remainder of the war as a prisoner. This encounter between two skilled pilots exemplified the intense air warfare in the Pacific theater. A tragic moment in racing history occurred in 1946 when renowned jockey George Wolfe suffered a fatal accident during a race at Santa Anita Park. Wolfe, who was already feeling unwell that day, fell from his horse Please Me in the home stretch and never regained consciousness. His legacy lives on through the George Wolfe Memorial Jockey Award, which recognizes jockeys who demonstrate high standards of personal and professional conduct. American political transparency took a leap forward in 1947 when television cameras entered the halls of Congress for the first time. This revolutionary development allowed citizens to witness their government in action, fundamentally changing the relationship between lawmakers and the public. The televised proceedings marked the beginning of a new era of political accountability and public engagement. A remarkable moment in American political history occurred in 1953 when Frances P. Bolton and her son Oliver made history by serving together in Congress. This unique mother-son duo represented different districts in Ohio, demonstrating how public service could run in families. Their simultaneous service remains a distinctive chapter in congressional history. The Hamilton Watch Company revolutionized timekeeping in 1957 by introducing the world's first electric watch, the Hamilton Electric 500. This innovative timepiece bridged the gap between mechanical and modern electronic watches, using a battery-powered movement instead of a traditional mainspring. This development marked the beginning of a new era in watchmaking technology. During a tense period of the Cold War in 1961, the United States completely severed diplomatic relations with Cuba after a series of escalating economic conflicts. This dramatic break in relations followed Cuba's nationalization of American businesses and the United States' retaliatory trade embargo. The diplomatic rupture would influence Caribbean politics and U.S. Cuba relations for decades to come. A significant milestone for international human rights occurred in 1976 when the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights came into force. This United Nations treaty established legally binding standards for education, health, labor rights, and adequate living standards. The covenant represents one of the most comprehensive international agreements on human rights. The technological landscape changed forever in 1977 when Apple Computer was incorporated by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Starting in a garage in Cupertino, California, this company would go on to revolutionize personal computing and digital technology. This incorporation marked the beginning of what would become one of the world's most valuable and influential technology companies. The end of Panama's dictatorship came in 1990 when Manuel Noriega surrendered to American forces after taking refuge in the Vatican Embassy in Panama City. Noriega's surrender marked the successful conclusion of Operation Just Cause, which had begun with the U.S. invasion in December 1989. This moment symbolized the end of an era of military rule in Panama and the beginning of democratic governance. A pivotal moment in arms control occurred in 1993 when U.S. President George H.W. Bush and Russian President Boris Yeltsin signed the Second Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty in Moscow. This agreement, known as START II, committed both nations to making dramatic reductions in their nuclear arsenals. The treaty represented a significant step toward reducing Cold War-era nuclear tensions. NASA's ambitious Mars exploration program continued in 1999 with the launch of the Mars Polar Lander, designed to study the Martian climate and search for evidence of water ice. The spacecraft carried sophisticated instruments to analyze the planet's atmosphere and soil composition. Though the mission would ultimately end in failure when contact was lost during landing, it paved the way for future successful Mars missions. A revolutionary moment in financial history occurred in 2009 when Satoshi Nakamoto established the Genesis block, the founding moment of Bitcoin's blockchain. This first block contained a hidden message referencing the financial crisis, embedding a Times of London headline about bank bailouts. This technological breakthrough would spawn an entire industry of cryptocurrency and blockchain applications. Tragic violence struck northeastern Nigeria in 2015 when Boko Haram militants launched a devastating attack on the town of Baga. The extremist group's assault resulted in widespread destruction and what many consider one of the deadliest massacres in the terrorist group's history. The attack highlighted the ongoing security challenges in the region and the brutal nature of Boko Haram's campaign. A remarkable moment in Dutch engineering occurred in 2018 when all 5 major storm surge gates in the Netherlands were simultaneously closed for the first time. This unprecedented action was taken to protect the low-lying country from a severe winter storm. The event demonstrated both the sophistication of Dutch flood control systems and the increasing challenges posed by extreme weather. The boundaries of space exploration were pushed further in 2019 when China's Chang'e 4 mission achieved the first-ever soft landing on the far side of the Moon. The mission successfully deployed the U-2 rover to explore this previously untouched lunar terrain. This achievement marked China's growing capabilities in space exploration and contributed valuable scientific data about the Moon's mysterious far side. The world was thrust into a period of heightened tension in 2020 when U.S. forces killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in a drone strike near Baghdad International Airport. The assassination of this high-ranking Iranian military figure sparked immediate concerns about potential military escalation between the United States and Iran. The event significantly impacted Middle Eastern geopolitics and international relations. A beloved institution came to an end in 2023 when Singapore's Jurong Bird Park closed its gates permanently after nearly 5 decades of operation. The park had been home to thousands of birds and played a crucial role in conservation efforts. Its closure marked the end of an era in Singapore's tourism and wildlife conservation history.